I'm absolutely exhausted.
On that note, welcome to Ask Steve Joe. Two very hot astrologers here. And it's the hottest day, I think, I think
Ever.
ever in May.
Yeah,
33
in the
degrees
UK.
yesterday, and it must be up there today. My poor plants and my cat in her furry coat is not very happy at all. She's underneath a bush somewhere. But anyway, welcome everyone. And well, Steve and I have just been having a very interesting conversation before we pressed the button, talking about this maybe the what the square between Pluto and Mars might be activating, and it was exact this morning. So we're recording around about 1:30, and I think it was. You said it was around about 8 o'clock in the morning, something like
Yeah,
that.
I'll tell you exactly. Hang on, let's have a look. Where is it? I know I'm leaning out of sight. Bear with me.
That's right. No, still, I can see your ear.
Right, it's right now. It's passed by a fair few hours. It's quarter of a degree apart and separating.
Mm.
But let's not forget. Yes, it was Mars square Pluto, but there was also a beautiful Grand Trine in the sky yesterday with the Sun, Moon, and Pluto. The Sun was trine Pluto and sextile Neptune and conjunct Uranus in this last few days. There's been
Yeah,
a lot of good things happening in this last few days because I just finished shifts. We met up at Avebury, and so many
we
people are
did.
pleased to see you. So I know Mars has been squaring Pluto, and there's some really, really dark undertones here.
Yeah,
But it's been
yeah,
ameliorated by the sun trine Pluto, I think, to a degree.
yeah.
So I think we've not seen the very worst of this.
No, well, I don't know what you feel, but we talked about this a while ago now. There would be a time where there would be a lull in the proceedings, let's put it
Yeah.
that way. And then this would then start to kick off again. So Pluto is definitely carrying that undertone. And it appears to all of us at the moment that maybe things are sort of calming down. I did catch the headline today. There had been another bombing. But actually, I didn't actually read the whole thing, so I'm very uneducated at the moment about what's going on in the world. But it does feel as if there's this undercurrent.
Yeah, you have to excuse my coughing. I'm pretty sick since
I know
shift.
you're not. You're a crook man.
I am.
You're a
Yeah.
crookie. Mm.
Yeah. I'm not as good as recovering as fast as I used to be.
Well, no, we don't at our age, do we?
So learning to live with your limitations is something that I've always struggled with. But hey,
So, what do you want to say about that, or just how things are pokey?
there's a growing angst of a triangle of angst because half the people are feeling totally disempowered, hopeless, as if everything's crap and they got nothing and nowhere to turn to. The other half of the people are feeling more and more sullen, resentful, angry. But the third part of that triangle is where what I call the monoliths, the dinosaur culture, they're also panicking because they know
Mm. Mm.
that their time is coming to an end. So we're
Mm.
seeing increasingly bigger, larger, false actions and promises. And it's not even about nation states anymore or oil supplies. It's all about the survival of the richest and the fittest, or at least in their eyes. But
Mm.
I was at MBS, I was at Mind, Body, Soul yesterday, and there were people there who were so happy to be there. And one of the things I kept hearing was it's not about being successful, it's not about achieving, it's about doing your best and being happy in yourself. And you're not being asked to be successful, you're being asked to do your best.
Yeah,
And more and more people are waking up to that and they're just getting on with it. And we're disregarding the what I call the dinosauric influences. The more you
it's
ignore them, the more they feel disempowered.
yeah, it's interesting that I was with I was at a camp at the weekend, and we were having very similar conversations. And I was looking at us. I think, we're worker bees, and the worker bees all do their job and take and to build the honey in the hive, and we there has to be lots of bees to be able to do that, and that's what we're doing. I look at it as all as worker bees doing our job, but adding to the collective. And
Yeah.
that gives me hope. We're making
And,
honey.
and the one thing that's still accelerating radically is the wake up call into the idea of a new frame of consciousness. And that can't be monetarized.
Mm,
And I love that because no one can affect the way you think apart from you. You can choose to believe what you choose to believe. And yes, you can have advertisements, you can have religion, dogma rammed down your throat. But if you're strong enough to go, I'm going to sit and think about this for a minute before I make my mind up, rather than believing everything you're being told, then you're going to come to natural conclusions that says, maybe I'll just trust my own judgment rather than what's being
yeah,
rammed on me. And that in itself is a leap of consciousness. And the more this is happening,
absolutely.
the more the world's accelerating into a bright new future, which is what the dominator culture is so terrified of,
Yeah. Well, do you
losing
know
their power base.
what I loved about the weekend that I've been on, and I think you had this very similar experience where you were, is people are doing fantastic things
Oh,
very
yeah.
quietly underneath the wire.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
building community. They're
yeah,
everyone's now into growing their own vegetables and doing
yeah,
all of that,
yeah,
and supporting their neighborhood. And it's what I think it was the Dalai Lama said. No, it was Buddha. No, it was Dalai Lama. One of the two. It said, look to your own first. Look to
yeah.
your own community first before you start thinking, I'm going to make this huge difference. I've got to, I'm going to be on the stage at Glastonbury on the pyramid stage. Probably, most likely not, but you can contribute something so valuable locally. That's where it has to start.
And that fits very well with one of my stock trade sayings for people with a challenging Chiron. When I say, how can you help anyone else if you're not in good working order yourself?
Exactly.
Putting
Heal
yourself first.
thyself. Yeah.
It's selfishness, it's self-enlightened interest.
Yes, 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 absolutely. You can't, otherwise, you become a fixer and annoy everyone, and it doesn't help and makes things
Oh,
worse.
someone sent you say that.
Mm.
Someone sent me an absolutely great one the other day
Okay.
about fixing.
Uh-huh.
You know the person who sent it to me, but I'm not going
Okay.
to embarrass them by saying their name on screen.
Okay.
I've got it here. It's a quote from Dr. David Hamilton, if that rings a bell. He said, "There's no need to fix everything. Some things actually just don't need fixing, and other things will get fixed anyway, even if you don't get involved." So, and I just thought, I'm paraphrasing it because I can't find it.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here we go.
Okay.
You don't need to fix everything. Many times things fix themselves, or we come to realize that they never needed fixing. Yeah.
Too right.
Yeah.
And I think when we haven't done the work on ourselves, what we want to do is actually, when you fix somebody, you really want to for them to sort of kind of think in your way. Oh, I know what's wrong with you. I'll tell you what's wrong with you. You need to do this. Ooh, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And if anybody's a fixer out there, and we all are, take a breath. Take a breath before you start launching in.
Before we came on air, we were talking about how very, very suddenly in the last 6 months, a great number of people are becoming more and more disempowered, whether it be by AI, whether it be because of their political views or their belief systems in any type of dogma or religion. There's a lot of ostracization and polarization going on. And
Yeah,
I said to you earlier, I'm so grateful I'm an astrologer because I think I'm
yeah,
kind of in a bubble and I'm protected from that. No one
yeah,
can tell me what to think and I don't have to follow any rules. But then I said to you, but with that comes a great deal of responsibility. And when I see astrologers, no names, but when I see astrologers channeling the Pleiades and telling us how we should be living and thinking, I just want to think, where's my baseball bat? Metaphorically, of course, because I would never commit violence against another. But it just makes me so angry, especially because
yeah.
they call themselves astrologers.
There's a lot of that going on, Steve.
But I also draw a great deal of comfort that just in this last 10 years, the number of people who not only know their sun sign, but their moon sign and their ascendant hasn't doubled or even tripled. It's
Mm.
quintupled or sextupled.
Yeah.
It's radically and rapidly
Mm.
accelerating, and more people are coming to know themselves through the study of their own chart.
And that's consciousness working, isn't it? That's it. That's it. If you know who you are, you wake up to who you are and you wake up to your own consciousness. That's the key. That's what we're here to do.
And that's what I call mission statement. That's why you volunteered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely.
Even if we do come from the Pleiades, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
But it's
I
an
often thought I come
interesting.
from Arcturus personally, but
I don't know where I come from. The outer reaches of Andromeda. I quite like the idea of that. But anyway, yes, but it is doing the work. That's what we're here to do, is to do the work and to remember who we truly are. And I think that's
yeah.
we've had 2000 years of great forgetting.
Yeah, it takes a lifetime to remember. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't do it, because
No.
part of the contract is that as soon as you land here, you forget why you volunteered. That's part
Yeah.
of the deal. But then
Yeah.
that's the life mission to remember it and then to do it. And I think for me, doing astrology has been a great vehicle for me to sort of both help. Astrologers aren't healers, but they can be catalysts. They
That,
can,
yes, and they're not counselors either. I think
no,
that's really important to have that demarcation, is to know your role as an astrologer, because we're not here as psychotherapists or counselors.
no,
We're here
no,
as
no.
astrologers. I think that's really important.
And I
Yeah,
think the best word to summarize that is catalyst.
yeah,
We give
catalyst.
we can give people different ways to see themselves,
Yes.
and what they do with that is up to them.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do pass people on all the time if I feel like they, especially if people are sitting on trauma,
Yeah,
and we've talked about it. I do. Pass people down the line to other
yeah.
people who specialize in it because that's their job.
No, I've passed a few people your way, as you have to me. So
I have.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but not, I wouldn't do it to another astrologer. I would do it to a trauma specialist or
yeah,
something like that, that somebody that really does specialize in. Because we need help at times, don't we? And it's not about talking to family. Family are lovely, but they kind of family do like to keep you in a box and don't really like you stepping out of that. So it's not the greatest. Family are lovely to talk to, but you need to, I think I always say, find somebody you trust. The most important is, will they listen to you? Will they shut up and listen rather than fix you, tell you what to do?
I call that tribe.
Yeah,
Tribe are unconditional. They love you
yeah,
just the way you are,
yeah,
and they don't try and change you.
yeah. But it's really difficult, isn't it? Especially if somebody pisses you off. Because you go, hang on a
But
minute,
but
that's not the way I
but
do it.
we've got Pluto's retrograde now, right? Neptune will be going retrograde quite soon. Don't know when, but I imagine seeing as with Sun's in Gemini, Neptune's in Aries. No, it's not going to be. It'll go retrograde in about 6 to 8 weeks, I would think. Maybe 6 weeks. Uranus won't go retrograde for another 8 to 10 weeks yet, and Saturn will go retrograde soon, but not immediately. Again, 8 weeks. But we're heading into. Now, by the time we're into the third quarter of this year, for some will be in the opposite side of the sky to Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and that'll all be retrograde. So I do think that the more we get into the third quarter of this year, there's going to be a great deal of reflection and reassessment of what the hell's been going on.
Yeah.
How did we get to where we are now, and where do we go from here?
How do we rebuild something so utterly broken as well?
Well, the older I get, the less I've got to lose.
Mm,
So I'm not going to sit back quietly. I'm not going to go and get myself into trouble, but I'm not going to shut up. I've got an idea that would sort it out. I know what would do it overnight, but it's such a radical idea that it wouldn't happen because the powers that be just would not allow it to happen. Although it may have to happen in our country in a few years' time, and that's the idea of proportional representation times 10, which
mm.
means getting rid of political parties completely and just electing individuals who do all the donkey work, who do all the governing and make the decisions and make things work. But every time it's a big decision, they come back to the people who elected them and say, which way do you want me to vote?
Yeah, for sure.
And that gets rid of the political parties and the lobbyists and the financial backers.
And it takes it back to community again, which is what we're talking about. And that's Pluto in Uranus.
It is.
How,
This is the resurgence of intelligent community.
yeah. And we all know that Pluto does drag us into the underworld first to do the cleanse before we're allowed out again, going, oh, I can see clearly now the rain's gone. But we were talking, it's very interesting we were talking about, how do we, I mean, irrespective of being an astrologer or not, I mean, how do we show up? And I was telling you before we press the button that I've met somebody recently who has been arrested and for incitement because she was on a march.
Demonstration.
She was
Yes.
on a march. I'll put it that way. We won't go into
Let's
what.
not mention any names.
No, let's not go there. And I and this word incitement really interests me, and it's how can we incite each other to do to work with the zeitgeist, to work with the collective, to work with consciousness in a much more, well, it's truth, isn't it? Authentic truth. Or how do we do that? Because incitement now means if you arrest,
Yeah.
but it's a great word to, if you're inspired or incited to do something really positive, then we as a collective, this is very Pluto in Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius, collectively we can do things together.
Bearing in mind that on the surface, we allegedly live in one of the most liberal and free thinking and forward looking societies in the world, on the surface,
On the surface.
I find myself more and more, just in recent months, under this wonderfully democratic Labour government, realizing that I have to be very careful what I say.
Mm,
I can still be outspoken, but I have to talk in terms of either allegory, metaphor, or, to play safe, pure astrological
mm,
symbolism.
mm,
And trust that the audience is
mm,
intelligent enough to read between the lines. But then I trust people. I
Mm.
trust the majority of, I certainly trust those humans that are interested in astrology.
Yeah, well, it gives them a structure. It gives, I think what I love about astrology is it doesn't lie. It's just there going, that's
Yes.
what it is. Here's the theme. What are you going to do with it? That's what I love about astrology.
And it's not anyone's invention. There's no agenda
No,
behind it. There's no political stance or leaning.
there's no
And if
guru.
anyone says, but you could be making this up, I'm like, no, we've got 10,000 years of statistics to prove.
Yeah. And the sacred geometry of it as well,
Oh,
which is just phenomenal. And you can't make that up. It's not
no,
possible.
no.
And what I also love about astrology, it's constantly evolving.
So I pulled a couple of lines on my audience at the weekend, and these are mine. I made them up. No one, you can have them, but anyone can have them. I'm not going to trademark them or patent them. Astrology is the lingua franca of the emerging consciousness revolution. It's lingua franca is a language that everybody knows but nobody speaks.
Mm.
But it's also astrology is the Esperanto of the emerging societal change. I forget the actual term I used, but
Yeah,
it's again, it's a language that's made up to so that everyone can understand it. But I can sit down with students from Uruguay and Japan and
yeah.
Iceland
Anywhere in the world, anywhere.
and just write a few symbols on a chart and then you know Mars sextile Venus equals there's Pluto Saturn conjunction and then we just look at each other and smile. Yeah,
Mm,
and you just feel that flow.
mm.
It's have you ever seen a thing called sensate?
Not yet.
Sense numeral eight.
Nese.
Sense
Yeah.
numeral eight.
Okay. No, not yet.
It's on Netflix. It's been out a few years. It's produced by a woman who's the sister of the brothers who made The Matrix. It's
Okay.
about Homo sensorium, those the branch of humanity that never lost its capacity for empathic resonance with each other. It's extremely good, in my opinion. Anyway, I
I'll
think
check.
you'd love it.
Yeah, I'll check that up. And if I can, I'll put the link below here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Mm.
I love it that there are certain things that cannot be monetized, like empathy and authenticity. I know there's an AI company called Authenticity, or if there isn't yet, there will be shortly.
Yeah, no.
But there, you can't monetize empathy or humor or optimism or love
Or honesty.
or honesty.
Yeah. Being honest.
Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah. And I think, I always go back down to Bonnie Ware's book, which is the five major regrets of the dying. And the first major regret, number one, is the people dying say, I wish I'd wish I'd been more authentic. I mean, this isn't quite the right words. I wish I'd been more me rather than living my life through the expectations of the others. Number one. And if you look about over the gateway to Delphi was know thyself. I mean, they knew all those years ago. This is a journey into the self, into understanding who we are and why we're here. And I always think it is about love, and that's why I like the Hermetic teachings. I love the Hermetic teachings that that we're here to remember the divinity of
I seriously
love.
hope I have no regrets on my deathbed.
I'm not planning them either, Steve.
No, mate.
No,
No.
nor me.
I just want to go out with a big smile on my face. It'd be nice if there's a few people who love me and I love them around, but
Yeah,
it's not necessary, but it'd be nice. But I
yeah,
just want to go out with a smile on my face and think, yeah, that's the end of this stage. Next.
yeah. I'd like to go out thinking, you did a good job.
Yeah, you did your
You
best.
did a good job. That's all you
Yeah,
can hope for. You
yeah.
know, that's it. That's
Bearing in mind that a lot of people who'll be listening to this will be going, yeah, and a lot of other people will be going, yeah, but they're old. They would say that.
oh,
And the younger ones will be going, yeah, but I want this and I want that and I want to get this and I want to do this with my life. And it's like, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Go
no.
and do it, but do it with a clean conscience and do it
Yeah.
in a way that brings joy into your life and doesn't offend others, because then that builds such a beautiful energy
Mm.
inside you that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
And that brings us back to astrology and know thyself. You know, if
Yeah.
you're a young person, if you're a young person listening to this, go and get your chart done. No, it gives you such a great start off in life. Oh, this is who I am, and this is what the themes of my life I've come here to learn.
And
Not
if
to
any of
trip
you are
you
thinking,
up.
but I can't afford your fees, I've got two or three of my students out there now doing readings for 30% of the fees that I charge. And I'm quite happy to pass them on.
Yeah, for sure.
You
You
know,
know,
it's not about the money, it's about getting you. There's always ways.
apps
Always.
always a way around everything, isn't
Yeah.
there? Now, is there anything else you'd like to say to finish off?
Well, where are we? I was out looking at Venus and Jupiter. They're going to be close. They're closing in
Yes.
on each other.
Is it the 6th of, I think it's the 6th of June that they're absolutely conjunct. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the 6th.
I was
Yeah.
looking at them in the sky last night and thinking, yeah, because Venus, I know,
Yeah.
well, I know Venus is in early Cancer, and Jupiter, that conjunction is going to be in Cancer before Jupiter moves into Leo. So yeah, that's not going to be far away. A maximum of 2 or 3 weeks. That's going to be nice, and it's got to be full moon. It'll be full moon in
Yeah.
Sagittarius shortly.
Very shortly. I think it's right at the end of the month, in a couple of days' time.
Oh yeah, because the moon's in early Libra
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's going to be about 4 or 5 days from now. So that means okay, so that's only going to be at about 10, 12 degrees of Gemini, Sag. That's not going to impact big time on what else is going on. And there's no eclipses, and all the big planets are now sort of had their flings and affairs with each other, and now they're beginning to go, oh, what was all that? This is new. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, let's do this again in a few months' time. You know.
Yes, we'll all be back. Oh, let's
Oh
all have a
yeah.
reunion.
And
I tell
and
you,
what's happened is a lot of the crap has been cleared away, and
yeah,
now Uranus and Pluto, the Uranus Pluto trine is coming in, and
yeah,
okay, I'm
yes,
I'm
yes.
aware. I've been made up a couple of weeks ago. I was saying very clearly when Mercury moves into Gemini and conjuncts Uranus on that day, that Venus and Mars changed sign as well, which happened to be the day shifts finished and we all went to Avebury. There's going to be some very big developments in the world. And it came and went. Not a lot happened in the news. But I've since had emails from a couple of people in different countries, different continents, telling me that there have been some massive breakthroughs just in the last couple of days, both in systems concerning both soft technology and hard technology. Now, I'm sworn to silence because these are
Mm,
going to be free to air discoveries. They're not going to be privatized or monetized. They're going to be put out, the blueprints are going to be put out before anyone else can get their hands on them and make money on them. This is going to make this game changing times.
wow.
So, this is going to be great. I
Yeah.
retain optimism in the face of adversity. And I may be stupid, but I'm
No, I think you're right. And do you know what gives me hope is the thought of the children that are going to be born now, carrying all of this energy.
child born yesterday with that Grand Trine between Moon, Sun, and Pluto, and Uranus and Neptune.
Yep. And then can you imagine the Jupiter and Venus conjunction as well? If
Oh,
it's used well,
if it's used well,
big
it'll
heart,
be so
big heart.
magnanimous, so generous, so
Yeah.
warm and loving. And if it's used badly, they'll get very fat
Yeah.
and end up drinking and sugaring.
Yeah. Where's my, feed my addiction quickly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I think that's what I like to think about when we have that things happening in the skies of babies that are being born now, choosing to come in now. And by the time they'll be moving into adulthood, they'll start doing their very important work, which is cleaning up the shit that we've created.
One of well, when I was running shifts, I did keep your presence at Avebury quiet until we were on the coach. And when we were nearly at Avebury, I said, I've got a surprise for you. We're going to be met by Sue Brain at the coach. And about 30 of the 40 people on the coach said, and afterwards, someone came up to me, I'm not going to name them, they came up to me and said, you two have got the perfect balance of seriousness and irreverence. And I said, well, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying this because I've got the moon in Sagittarius and you've got Sagittarius rising, which gives us our humor, but also gives us an eye into the future
Yes,
with an
yes,
optimism about it.
absolutely. I'm ruled by Jupiter. Too right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. On that lovely note, we'll see each other next month
We will. We will. And onwards until the day we can't.
till one of us drops.
No, no, not soon. Not soon.
Who
All right.
knows?
Bye, world.
Bye all. Take care. Thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it. Take care for now. Bye.